You are hereby advised that the tips, tactics, stunts, and tricks displayed on our videos are performed by professionals in controlled environments, such as closed ranges. Do not attempt to duplicate, recreate, or perform any of these at home, as personal injury or property damage may result. The producer of this video is not responsible for any such injury or damage.
So in regards to the kern mantle rope, the core and the sheath of the rope, another important thing to point out is when you inspect your rope and feeling a rope, okay? What can happen in the field when using your rope, if people fall, there's different types of things just to be aware of. We won't cover them too in depth because this isn't a climbing class. It's not a rope certification class, but it's just something to be aware of, okay? Again, 80% of the strength comes from the core, 20% comes from the sheath. Some of the things you'll see out there, and if you want to get adventurous, you can Google things like core shot, C-O-R-E space S-H-O-T, and what you'll see is a rope that's been shock loaded or someone that fell where this mantle here is actually blown open, and you can actually see something hit the inside of the core of the rope. Very bad thing. The nice thing is most of these ropes, the sizes we use especially out there, even the climbers, they use very thick, very strong ropes. So while that is a bad thing, it's not, in most cases, catastrophic. They can usually get that person down, get that person off that rope, get them to safety, but something to look for. Other things is be mindful that even though the rope looks good, doesn't have a core shot, it's clean, the actual mantle can start pulling away from the sheath. So you kind of have like a loose mantle. The mantle can be pulling away from the core. So you have a loose sheath over the core, which can create problems, but you'll be able to feel that. As you're inspecting your rope, kind of going through it, you'll feel where the sheath gets a little bit loose. Rope strength. Let's talk about this. That's something that's always on people's mind. You can go down to Home Depot. You can buy yourself a rope. You can go pretty much anywhere. You go to Walmart. A lot of you guys have 550 cord laying around. And what it comes down to is we're not going to talk about the construction or who builds the best rope or what. What we're going to talk about is how strong is that rope. Okay. All of us that have paracord, how strong is the paracord? 550 pounds, that's when it breaks, okay? The rope we use for rope rescue and climbers use and this and that, it's much, much stronger, okay? It's bigger as well. The diameter of the rope's a lot bigger than paracord, but it's also monumentally stronger. So some of the ropes we use, the 1/2 inch, the 11 millimeter, even personal bailout stuff like 8 mil, we rate those very high. The 11 millimeter stuff is what we use a lot in the backcountry because it's a little bit lighter than 1/2 inch. We consider those about 6,000 pounds breaking force. Okay, very, very strong rope. Okay, and it's all based on diameter. And you'll be able to see that when you buy rope. Okay, if you're going to REI or you're going to the climbing store or even if you're going to Home Depot, look at the rope and you can see the actual breaking strength. Okay, sometimes that breaking strength is going to be listed in kilonewtons, and as we know, it's 220. So you're going to have to do some math there to figure it out. But more or less, any of this rope, very strong, very good. It'll hold yourself and quite a bit of weight. My recommendation for personal bailout kit, again, if we're doing a system where we're going to put someone's life on the line for a rescue-based or a transportation-based kind of movement, we're using 11 mil or 1/2 inch because it's strong. Okay, that person's going to be nice and safe. Likewise, if we're going to put a patient on there, a subject, we're going to be using that really thick rope because it's very strong. Personal bailout type stuff, if it's just me out in the backcountry or moving around, 8 mil works great. If you want to get crazy, anywhere from 6 to 8 mil, probably be okay. 7's a good number. You can pick that stuff up, like 50 feet of it at REI for $20 or something like that, and it's really good, strong rope. Don't use your paracord to rappel. Use it to tie stuff. Use it for doing your knives or whatever you got your plans for. But please ignore the movies. Don't take your survival cord off your wrist and try to do any rappels or anything like that because it breaks at 550. And when we go into the knot section, we're going to talk about a little bit what happens to rope once you start putting knots and once you start using it, because at that point the rope strength does change.
ZERT is a worldwide membership-based organization that uses zombie as a metaphor for any natural or man-made disaster that could occur in our lifetime. Your zombie could be hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, a deadly force encounter, or civil unrest. ZERT is about being prepared, trained, and most importantly, armed with the proper mindset to see you and your family through to safety. ZERT is not just an organization. It's a lifestyle. ZERTNation.com